it's Betsy, and today we have a fun video. We're going to be testing out the new Kaleidos x Angelica Nyquist Club Nebula palette. Now, I think I'm going to do this video as a 3 looks 1 palette video because plus a full review. So I'm going to start recording it today, but it's going to take a couple of days to get it all filmed. But I'm excited to play with this. I have watched Angelica Nyquist forever, and I absolutely adore her. She is a Swedish YouTuber, and then this is the palette she came out with Kaleidos. So there are 15 shades. It retails for $45, and they do plan on doing another restock. My husband ordered the set that had the box, which is sitting over there, and the playing cards, which he kept because he loves cards. So we're going to start off by swatching this palette. It is so pretty. Kaleidos has really good quality shadows, and I own almost all of them except for the neon palette. So this is the shade Firefly. Oh, that's beautiful. 7 of Nines, Gravity, Queen of Blades. Oh, I really like that color. Now, one thing you should know about Angelica Nyquist, if you do not follow her, she is a sci-fi connoisseur. So she has her fandoms, like 7 of Nines is from, that is a Star Trek character. Then we have Void, that beautiful navy blue. You Are My Only Hope. Look at that. Neru, which is a beautiful taupe. Astro, I love Astro. So we've got Void, You Are My Only Hope, Neru, and Astro. So beautiful. This color story is super unique, and I love that there are deep colored mattes because I love a good grungy eye look. Rock coppered, now that is like the perfect grayish. Like that, it to me is like a good purpley gray. Cylon, Celestial, that's a beautiful color. Nova, again, beautiful color. So we've got Rock Copper, Cylon, Celestial, Nova. These colors are so pretty. Samus, beautiful peach. Nebula, which is like this coral orange duochrome. And last but not least is Red Giant. So, Samus, Nebula, Red Giant. Okay, so that is all 15 shades. As you can see, they're almost all really richly pigmented, which I like, and the shimmers. Kaleidos makes beautiful, beautiful shimmers. And I would have been absolutely shocked if they decided to do their first collaboration with anybody else, because I know from watching her how much she adores this brand. So I'm gonna grab, this is a BK Beauty 201, and I'm gonna go into that neutral shade, the Naru shade, and use this as like a transition shade. Look how pretty that color is. It is a very cool tone, taupey kind of color. So to me, this is a great kind of transition shade if you're wanting to do a neutral look, because I think you could easily pull off a very neutral look with this palette, or you can do something much, much more colorful. But it's more of that grungy color that I like. So let's go ahead and apply this. You see how easy that's going on? And it's building up nicely. Now there is some fallout, which is fine by me because, you know, fallout is what it is. But look, isn't that gorgeous? So we like that. What is next? Okay. So I think what I'm going to do next is I need a smaller brush. So this is a BK Beauty 206, and I'm gonna go into the shade Rock Copper, which is more of that purpley grayish, because I think I wanna keep this very cool tone, but very purple. I think is the manner of which I want to do this. See how good that blended out? Like, seriously, no effort whatsoever. Which, you know, is fine by me. And I'm not sure if I'll make this 3 or 5 looks. We'll kind of see. I could easily do 5 looks with this though. This is a beautiful, beautiful color story. And I love a good grungy matte moment. Like, y'all know I love my shimmers. I'm going to use that same brush and I'm going to go into the shade Cylon, which is that deep purple. The deepest purple, yes. So you see how you can kind of layer those together? See how that makes it much more purple? We like that. We definitely like that. Okay. But yeah, no, I really like this color scheme. I think it's very unique too. Or at least it is for me. Okay, I'm gonna grab my 201 and just kind of go over the edges to make sure everything's blended. You know, I'm 37 years old, I'm not a spring chicken, and I want to make sure my wrinkles look smooth. What do you think so far? I really like this. Okay, so next we're gonna apply something to the lid. And I think I'm going to go for You Are My Only Hope. Let's see if this works. I'm gonna take, this is just a Sigma eye shading brush, the E56. I'm gonna spray it and we're gonna apply this all over the lid. Oh, that's pretty. That is gorgeous. I was scared that that wasn't going to be pigmented enough, but man, that's pretty. Look how pretty that looks. Oh yeah, I cannot wait to do a green look with this. Y'all know I love my green looks, but I mean, the sparkle. Look at that. Spray it again. I prefer my, we're gonna grab a different brush. So I prefer, and this is the Moon Dust brush. This is always really good with shimmers, the Urban Decay Moon Dust. And this is kind of one of those moon dusty style shimmers where there's a whole lot of sparkle to it. So I'm just kind of layering that up and spreading it out. That looks really pretty. And I'm gonna take my BK Beauty, the 206 that I was just using, and just kind of go over the edges to make sure everything is really nice and faded together. Okay, so there is the top lash line done. What do you think? So I'm gonna go off camera. I'm going to take and do the rest of my makeup, come back and do the lower lash line, and then we will be prepared to do another look. I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. Oh, I forgot highlight. So I guess we'll use Pat McGrath today. So I was like, wait, why isn't my face shiny? Because Mama forgot a highlight. So we're just gonna use the new Pat McGrath. This is, what is this? The Divine Rose. Look at that. I will tell you, Mama Pat knows her stuff when it comes to makeup. But I had lunch and all that, so it's like, oh, well, we will see how it goes. But look how beautiful this eye look is. So I used the NYX Epic Wear liner in Graphic Purple in my waterline. So now let's go ahead and apply a little bit of Cylon. So this is a BK Beauty 205, and I'm gonna take that shade Cylon, which is that deep purple, and I'm just going to take and smudge that under my lower lash line. I always love like a deep smudgy under eye. That is like my favorite when it comes to looks. See how much better that looks? Or at least in my opinion. So I'm just gonna take a clean BK Beauty 101 or 201, sorry. 201 is the eye brush. Good, good. And apply something to the inner corner. I think I'm gonna use the shade Nova right here in my inner corner, which is that pinky white kind of multi-chrome. There's some blue to it. It almost reminds me of cotton candy, but I love a good multi-chrome. And then this is just a BK Beauty 204. So far, so good. What do you guys think of the first look with the Club Nebula palette? I think it looks pretty good. So, see you tomorrow and do another look. I have the tops of my eyes prepared to do the second look with the Kaleidos Club Nebula palette. So I think I'm gonna stick with this bottom row mainly for the pinks and the oranges and the red. I think that that will make a really pretty look. So I'm gonna grab a BK Beauty 201 and we're gonna go into this shade Samus, which is that almost corally, peachy kind of orange. To me, it's like a peach. And we're gonna apply that as like our transition shade. Just keep building and blending. See how that goes on. That's a pretty color, isn't it? It works well as a transition on my skin tone. It's nice and warm as well. And as my base, I use the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base, which is, y'all know, pretty normal. It's pretty much all I use. And I'm just kind of building this up more towards the outside, but keeping it not as pigmented in the inner corner. This is always like my favorite eye shape. I need to play with doing different eye shapes, but you know, at my age, I'm 37. I know the style and way that works best for me. So that's tend to what I always use, you know what I mean? Okay. That looks really, really pretty. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab a smaller kind of blending brush. This is a BK Beauty 202, and I'm gonna go into that shade Red Giant, which is like that deep, oh yeah, burgundy kind of red. That's so pretty. And we're gonna concentrate that mainly on the outside corner because, you know, that's where I want my depth. That's really pretty though. You see how easy that just blended out? So good. And yeah, I'm still breathing heavy if you can't tell. I'm fighting like bronchitis because having the heat and the cold and just trying to, you know, keep from getting sick is almost impossible. At least it feels like for me. And I don't like to get on antibiotics unless I absolutely have to. That looks really pretty. Okie dokie. So I'm going to take the 201 that I used originally just to kind of go over the edges and make sure everything's nice and blended. I really like how that looks. So I'm going to grab, this is the Sigma, what brush is this? The E55. I really like using this with like shimmery colors, and we're gonna go into the Nebula shade, which is like that orangey multi-chrome kind of color, and we're gonna use that all over the lid. So just kind of packing that on. That's a pretty color. And I did use some setting spray to wet the shadow because If I'm not using a glitter glue, that tends to be what works best for me. But you know, whatever works on your eyes and your eye shape, and I just kind of tap and pat. That's really pretty. And see how good that goes on? I don't know. This palette so far, it wore beautifully yesterday. And I've just been really impressed by the quality of it all. I think I'm gonna go in with my finger a little bit just to kind of amp up the sparkles, you know? There we go. What do you think? I think it looks super duper pretty. And I think I'm gonna go into the shade Celestial, which is like that white pink kind of color, and just add a little bit over the top. See how that adds just a tad bit more sparkle? Yes. So we're just taking Celestial with our finger and just kind of dusting it on. And there we go. So take my 202, kind of go back into the outer V, make sure everything's nice and pigmented. So now what I'm going to do is go off camera, do the rest of my face, and then we'll come back and do the lower lash line. So as you can see, I'm back. I have the rest of my face on. I used the Benefit Cheek Stars for my skin. I used Hoola for my bronzer, Georgia Peach for my blush, and Cookie as my highlight. And then on my lips, I used the Chantecaille Spring Clover. I really like this color. And then on my waterline, I did use the BFF Gel Cream Eyeliner by ColourPop in Good Reef. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take a tiny little brush, if I can find one. So I'm gonna use this. This is the Lunar Beauty LB3, and I'm gonna go into that orange shade called Samus. That orangey peachy shade, because I don't think I want to put the darkest color under my eyes today. I think that I want to keep all the darkness so it gives it a little bit extra shape just on the upper. So you see how that adds some dimension on this eye without it being too much. There we go. And I always like to go pretty far down. I'm gonna take, this is the 201 that I used up top, and just use that to really smooth everything out. I prefer to put some shadow underneath my eyes. One, it does help kind of distract from my wrinkly under eyes, or at least in my eyes it does. So, I'm gonna take some of the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk mascara. I really like this mascara. It's a good brush for doing tiny detail work, or if you're wearing false lashes. And let's add Celestial. I'm gonna grab, this is the Lunar Beauty. This is just an LB6. This is a tiny little brush. And I'm gonna take that shade Celestial, which I kind of used as a topper shade over Nebula. And we're going to apply just straight up Celestial in the inner corner. There we go. So this is completed look number 2, and we'll do another one tomorrow. Today we're gonna work with the Club Nebula palette again. So this will be look number 3 with it. So I think I'm gonna grab, this is a BK Beauty 206 brush. So it's like a dense but fluffy brush. And I'm gonna start with the shade Gravity, which is that lime green in here. I love that color. And I'm gonna use that towards the front of my eye. It's a beautiful green. I don't think, and I have a lot of green shadows. I don't think I have anything that is exactly like that. kind of a unique shade of green, but it's pretty. I love a good green shadow. Y'all should know. So I'm just kind of building that up in the front portion of my eye, blending it a little bit. And I did prime my eyes with the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base, which has definitely become like a favorite of mine. And I'm just kind of blowing, you see how I'm just kind of blowing that out a little bit? So, and then slowly but surely bringing it more towards the middle, but not as heavy. Okay? Because next I want to grab another brush. I'm gonna grab, this is a BK Beauty 202, and we're gonna go into the shade 7 of 9s. That's a Star Trek reference. So we're just, ooh, I don't know what that did. I bumped my keyboard. Let me move my keyboard out of the way. Hey, there's that brush I was missing. Who would know? It's under my keyboard. Anyways, we're gonna take and add that to the outer half of our eye, bringing it in and blending it in the center. Look how pretty that color is. That's a really pretty robin's egg blue. Not quite, no, not quite Tiffany blue. It's a little deeper than Tiffany blue if you use that as a reference. But you see how nice that gradient is in between? So we're just gonna keep building that up because why not? I try to make things simple. You know, I don't know how y'all are, but I love a good colorful eye. And this palette is very, very unique. At least in my thought process, it is very unique. So I'm liking how that looks. So I want something a tad bit smaller. I'm gonna grab, this is the Refer number 13 brush. It's still a little blending brush, but it's tiny. And I'm gonna go into the shade Queen of Blades, which is almost like a deeper, well, no, it's not almost. It is like a deeper teal shade. And I'm going to take and run that kind of in the front portion of my eye just to deepen it, but I'm only keeping it in the crease. Like I'm really not bringing it out yet. You know what I'm saying? We're keeping it very tight in the crease for some drama and depth. And I'm mainly keeping that color towards the front of the eye. And I may take and bring some more of the Gravity shade over the top of it. So, just gonna take that shade and continue to run it through the crease, just in the crease, throughout the entire eyeball. Because I like a deeper shade, and if I'm breathing heavy, I'm still fighting whatever's in my chest from the winter storm. It is what it is. So I'm just taking that 206 brush that I used in the beginning and re-intensifying the lime in the front, because I'm not going to be adding any other shadows at this point over the top of that. Okay, and then I'm going to take that 203, or number 13, sorry, and we're going to go into shade Void, which is that deep navy. Oh yeah, that's a beautiful color. And I'm really going to concentrate that towards the outer corner. So as you can see, I'm kind of blending it up into 7 of 9s. And I'm not bringing it any further in because I want the Queen of Blades shade, which is that deep, deep teal, to really kind of have a starring moment on the front half. And one thing I like to do is kind of tuck and circle It really helps you get a good blend. Gonna take that same brush that had the 7 of 9s, dip a little bit more into it, and just kind of bring that back just over the outer edge. Oop, dipped it in the wrong shade. Yeah, don't want that. Okay, back into 7 of 9s. And just using that, see how I'm re-intensifying that top portion and blending out the edge of void a little bit. I'm really liking this eye look so far. But I love a good green, teal blue fade. I love looks like this. I mean, if you followed me for a while, you would know. So now I'm gonna take, this is a, what brush is this? This is the LB E5 from Lunar Beauty, and we're gonna go into that shade Astro. See if it picks up well. Oh yeah. And I'm applying this all over the lid and partially in the crease. That's why I wanted Queen of Blades, because I wanted some type of gradient for it to kind of go to when using it with Gravity. And then I think I'm going to use Firefly in the inner corner, which is that lime green shade. This color, like, I don't know if the camera does it justice, because it is so pretty. I'm going to try to spray it a little bit. Let me show you. And I wear my space earrings, but you can definitely see the shift. It is like a teal, and then you got some purple and green. I love this color. And I'm just gonna wing it out. Just wing it like I do everything else in life. And apply it everywhere. Okay. So that is the top done. I think I'm gonna leave the tapes on because I think I'm gonna try to do a lime green wing. We'll see how that goes. And then we'll be back with the rest of my face on, and we'll do the lower lash line and talk about my final thoughts on this palette. So I'm back and I have the rest of my face on. I used my Huda Tantour, the blueberry blush shade from right here from Menagerie, and then I used Mars Melter. I think this is the original Mars Melter. So that's what I have as highlight. So I look super duper glowy. And then I used for my waterline, I used the Urban Decay Jolt, and I used the Amorosa, I think is how you say it, shade from Natasha Denona. So I think I want to use the green under my eye. So I'm going to take that same 206 brush from BK Beauty and apply a generous amount of green, because I want color, and I use that in my waterline as well. Okay, I think I need something a tad bit smaller and fluffier. Okay, so this is the BK Beauty 207, so this is more of a pencil brush. So we're gonna use that instead. Oh yeah, I like that. There we go. So I'm just blending that under the eye. I really like that. And I'm gonna take just a tiny little bit of Queen of Blades, which is that deep teal. And I'm just going to apply that ever so gently towards the outer corner, just for a little bit of depth. Because that is what I prefer. Y'all know, if you've watched me, you know, colorful under eyes, well, colorful anywhere. And I am happy. So I'm gonna take and apply just a little bit. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk mascara. We're gonna apply a little bit of that under our lash line, not under our lash line, our lower lash line. What do you think? I think this is a gorgeous, gorgeous look. This is the Lunar Beauty LB6, so it's just a tiny little pencil brush. We're going into the shade Firefly, which is like this white green shade, and we're going to apply that. Oh yeah, see how beautiful that is? In the inner corner. It's like just the perfect amount of sparkle, at least for me. And I'm just taking a little bit of it, applying it directly on my brow bone. And that is the final look for this 3 looks 1 palette video. And I will tell you, this palette is absolutely amazing. Kaleidos and Angelica Nyquist knocked this one out of the park. The colors are phenomenal. I just love everything about it. And I love that the shades, the sparkle shades, are sparkle shades. They're very metallic, but then they also have like that glitter factor that I tend to love. So it definitely makes me very happy. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to comment down below. But I guess that's it, and we will see y'all later. Bye.